everybody.
Hi, friends. Well, from beautiful, if perhaps overcast, Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank Feldman.
And I'm Dan Beecher.
And coming up on the show today, Dan, it's Saint Valentine's Day.
Oh, yes.
Oh, the day of love and lovers.
Literally the day that is the saint's day of a specific person, but we don't care about him at all.
Yeah, so something that started as a holy day is now a holiday, and we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
But first, Dan, we got some stories, some things that happened this week in the news that we're going to talk about. This one, boy howdy, it's brief, it's short on details, but it made me so happy. The headline is Mormon Church's investment arm under investigation by SEC. I don't want to
if only under investigation meant something real was going to happen.
I know, but yeah, they're investigating the Mormon Church's efforts to keep its investment portfolio secret. It's massive, $100 billion investment portfolio that one can only imagine has grown since the guy who whistle blew, last saw the number, right? Whatever that big O number is. Yeah, they've so the investigation is focused on whether the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints,
the Mormons.
Yeah, thank you. I was waiting for it. Whether they complied with disclosure requirements for large money managers.
Yeah.
The investigation is in an advanced stage, and here's the bummer, is likely to lead to a settlement in the coming months.
Meaning they will get fined,
Yeah.
but guaranteed it will be a fine that any company managing $100 million or $100 billion will not notice this. It's a rounding error.
Yeah.
in their portfolio.
It's unfortunate, but I really like that they got caught.
Well,
if they're doing something that's not quite right. I mean,
you're not allowed to, you can't have a portfolio that big and not let the government sort of poke around a bit and make sure that you're at least mostly on the up and up. You can do all kinds of criminal shit.
And
but
invest
you have to let them look.
Yeah.
They have to be able to take a little sneaky peek.
Yeah, but nonetheless, and we've talked about this extensively on the show in the past, just this ridiculous amount of money, and sort of, it just raises these very weird moral questions about a church amassing a fortune and just sitting on it, right? And I mean, that's why it's so icky to me, and why I take some glee. Well, I mean, the government potentially holding any religious institution in this country, accountable at any level for anything, it shouldn't bring us this much joy. But because it never happens,
right? Exactly.
Or I guess I should say rarely happens, it's just a delight.
Well, and it's a double whammy too, because there are two groups that never get held accountable in the United States, and that is religions, especially and specifically anything that has the word Jesus in it,
right.
And wealthy entities.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
This is a tale of both.
Yeah. Maybe they'll repossess them all.
God, wouldn't that be amazing?
I would love it. Or just the temple. They should repossess the temple. Just be
you know what? They could charge them
this.
They could literally fine them $100 million, and they would just be like, that's frustrating.
Where do I sign?
That's really annoying. Please don't. But they won't.
Yeah.
It'll be like $100,000.
Oh God.
$10,000. You guys have to pay us.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a story about a a school. It is a Christian school. It is a private Christian school that is what the nice thing about this school, the thing that I like about this school is that it is tuition free.
Oh. Okay.
And apparently very much one of the main things they do is serve low income students of color. A good percentage of their students fall into that category.
Okay.
I think that's great. They were also, so basically it's all donation based. They have this huge donor base. This is in Kansas City, Missouri.
Mm.
And they were chugging along just fine. And then they decided to come out and say openly that their policy is one of gay affirmation. They are LGBTQIA plus affirming.
Oh, no.
Though they are still Christian.
Oh, no.
They're done.
Done?
School's over.
Yeah.
Literally, in December of 2021, before they did this, they took in over $300,000 in donations.
Okay.
In December of 2023, they took in $14,000.
Oh, no.
So
really?
They're closing.
Oh,
they're
no.
Over.
Oh, they're done. Because they're okay with gays?
Yeah.
Christians are that
hateful?
Yeah.
They are so much more focused on hating who they hate than they are loving who they love. And this is literally...
Oh, wait, they love people?
Well,
I didn't know about that part.
Well, they claim there is a claim floating out there. But I think this very much puts the lie to that claim.
Wow. That's really sick, because it sounds like
important.
it was already a fairly progressive place for a little Christian school.
Yeah.
And so it's the kids, right? Like kids from disadvantaged backgrounds or whatever. That's kind of what it sounds like they were focusing on. Oh.
And here's the thing, I could have worded this. A lot of atheists who are you can fall easily into the trap of anything Christian is going to be harmful for kids.
Right.
And I kind of get that perspective. I don't want kids being indoctrinated into Christianity.
Right.
But, it sounds like this school was at least sort of the lesser of that evil.
Right.
And, it may be that in that part of Kansas City, there was a real need for better education. It strikes me as decidedly possible.
Right. Well, I mean, it's an unfortunate tradition, but it is a tradition in this country of a lot of times in smaller communities, the best schools are the Christian schools.
Yep.
So
it is a conundrum for many a non-believing parent.
Yeah. All
but
right.
At least these parents won't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. That conundrum has been solved.
Has been solved
for them. All right. Well, Dan, let's see where to start with this story. It comes to us from the Netherlands.
Okay.
And it has to do with a prosecution of a woman for belonging to Islamic State.
Oh, okay.
And then they're accusing her of enslaving Yazidis, or at least a Yazidi woman in Syria. Now, the Yazidis, if you'll recall, are an ancient religious minority in sort of that Syria part of the world, right?
Okay.
Over there somewhere, that combines Zoroastrianism, Christian, Manichaean, Jewish, and Muslim beliefs. It's kind of this, and they just...
I don't think you're allowed to do that.
I don't think
you're allowed to just squish them together like that.
Well, they have, and they've been doing it for a very, very, very long time. And the Islamic State sees the Yazidis as devil worshippers. And they kill them, right? They've killed more than 3,000. They've enslaved 7,000 Yazidi women and girls and displaced most of the 550,000 member community from its ancestral home in northern Iraq.
Wow.
I guess that's why they're in Syria. So the Dutch have some...
When you see people... When someone in the world is murdering and persecuting a religious minority, you call the Dutch.
Yeah, because they're on it. Let me tell you, the people who are up to no good. There are two words that can be said that will send a shiver down their spine. I'm sure. The Hague.
The Hague.
You do not want to be hauled off to The Hague and charged for war crimes or crimes against humanity, as they are charging this woman with. Her name is Hasna Arab, and she's Dutch. She's a Dutch citizen. That's how they're getting her, right? Because they have universal jurisdiction laws where their national courts can try suspects for war crimes, crimes against humanity, and genocide committed on foreign soil, as long as the accused resides in the Netherlands.
That's so weird. So wait, is this the international court, or is this just...
No, this is actually just Dutch courts.
Dutch, weird.
I made it out to be like The Hague,
but it just happens
to be just
in The Hague.
Yeah, I think it's just
it's in the city, but not. It's not The Hague.
You know, with the reputation that The Hague has, I'm sure it's a lovely place, but I don't even want to go there. Right? Like
you could just get prosecuted for you don't know what. They are prosecutorial there. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, but I think this is like, I love it. I love that, like, this woman is not going to get away with enslaving someone.
Yeah.
And committing crimes against humanity.
Meanwhile, there are Swedes and Finns enslaving people left and right, and they just get away with it.
Well,
if she had just been Danish, everything would have been fine.
Is that a fact? Danes just let people off?
I'm just saying it sounds like these international laws are very specific to
the Dutch would not be trying her if she was Belgian or whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, this sounds.
Anyway, good stuff.
Oh my God!
What?
Just the fact that people do shit like this. The fact that it seems okay to anyone to be like, oh, they believe a weirdo religion. Probably murder and slavery is best.
Well, like, I find it so bizarre that, like, people leave their home in the Netherlands, right? They leave the Netherlands and they're like let out of the cage, right?
Yeah.
Like they're just this wild animal out there, you know, killing people they don't like, enslaving people they don't like. Like, it's insanity. Like, but yet they go back to the Netherlands and, you know,
just chill.
They're perfectly chill. She's probably, you know, works in a library somewhere, and I have no idea what she does.
On her way to a lovely market, to a farmer's market.
She was planting tulip bulbs.
Picked up by the feds.
And clogging away in wooden shoes.
Yeah.
Just being so Dutch. It hurt.
Yeah. And then suddenly she picked up for enslavement.
Like, it's insanity.
Man. Well, I'm going to take us to now. If I say to you that I am going to do a story that AP reported from Hilldale, Utah, about a fringe religion, what religion am I talking about?
FLDS.
You'd think so.
There's another one?
This is because Hilldale, Utah, is part of is one half of the Short Creek community that used to be the central home of the fundamentalist Mormons, the Warren Jeffs crowd that got broken up and whatever.
Right.
It is now also apparently the home to Hummingbird. The Hummingbird Church.
What?
Which is apparently an ayahuasca ceremony church.
Oh, good for them.
Which I find interesting. The story is largely focuses on ayahuasca as for those of you who don't know, ayahuasca is a South American derived hallucinogen.
Yes.
That people take. It's a psychedelic that people take, and frequently they take it not for recreation, but rather for
they'll have like a shaman, right?
Yeah, it's for spiritual / psychological purposes.
They take the ayahuasca. The shaman is doing their shamany things, and then they vomit until they see God, right?
That may be the order of things. It may go in different orders. Your results may vary depending on.
Oh, I forgot shit themselves too.
You can shit yourself. Yeah. That's not a guarantee. You probably will vomit. And you'll see pretty lights and a lot of interesting things. But like I have multiple friends, like personal friends who have sworn to me that they're doing one ayahuasca ceremony was like 10 years of therapy.
Oh, I know people who say the same thing. Yeah.
So there's now finally some research being done into psychedelics and their actual medicinal properties and psychological aid properties. I've now finally in the United States, people are there's ketamine treatments.
Oh yeah.
For depression and that
sort of thing. Or you can just take it recreationally. You can just have a little K.
Don't take ketamine recreationally.
Oh my God. Anyway.
Did you try it?
No. Oh, shit.
Okay.
Shit, I thought
you were gonna tell us about the time you went into a K-hole there for a second.
No, I've been in the room.
Yeah.
Shocking. I was shocked. I was like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, do it with medical professionals.
Yeah.
There are other ones. If you want to do something recreationally, go for mushrooms. That'll be fine.
Delightful.
Anyway, so ayahuasca, it turns out, interestingly enough, has been multiple times protected by U.S. courts.
Oh, really?
As a religious sacrament type thing, as a religious thing. So while the substance is illegal in the United States, it's one of the few like drug related things in the U.S. that has actually passed muster in multiple court cases. That's an interesting thing. Here's the thing. I'm interested in it. I would probably try it. And the thing that would stop me from doing it is that there's going to be a shaman there who's going to turn it into a religion-y thing.
Yep.
The one thing that allows it to be legal in the United States is the thing that would most bug me.
Yeah.
Going into it. It's just like, oh, can we not? I am here for psychological benefit.
Yeah.
Can I have a psychologist instead of a shaman, please?
Yes.
Is that a possibility?
Yes. And I still want bucket keepers though. So
you got to have people around you because you're going to freak out. You're going to have trouble. You got to be guided through this.
Yeah, I mean just for the throwing up. Like
and that's part of it. Yeah.
Somebody's got to hold your hair back and clean out the bucket when you're done.
It definitely sounds like a deeply unpleasant experience, but
I've had it described to me by a couple different people now, like in a certain amount of detail. And I'm just like, I'm really happy that you have like found something that like has had this like incredible transformative experience for you, but like, no, thank you. You're want not selling nothing to do with this. Yeah.
Yeah. Literally have anyone describe the process to you.
Oh my God.
Because it'll start with, it was the most amazing thing in the world.
Yeah.
But as they get deeper and deeper into the story, they're like, first of all, it tastes awful.
Right.
And then you wait like an hour for it to kick in, and then you vomit like you've never vomited before.
Right.
Maybe pee your pants while you're vomiting.
Yeah.
Possibly shit yourself.
Right. Yeah.
And then it's this really great experience.
I know. It's like, okay, cool. I just felt like the Mother Creator's energy, like she was there. And I'm like, I bet that feels amazing.
And the Mother Creator made you shit yourself? That seems mean.
She's got some interesting gatekeeping sort of rules.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah, anyway. All right, Dan.
Yeah.
This is an interesting development within the Democratic Party here in these United States.
Okay, I've heard of them.
Yeah. They're the more reasonable of the two.
Yeah. Still not great.
They sometimes piss me off, especially sometimes their tactics piss me off.
Yeah. Well, their tactics, you mean the tactics that are able to almost universally snatch defeat out of the jaws of victory?
Yeah. Anyway, they have passed I guess I should say the Democratic National Committee has passed a resolution. So this is just a party statement, right? Mm-hmm. It's a party. I guess I don't know if this is like part of the platform or whatnot, but they've passed a resolution that condemns, quote, white religious nationalism, declaring that, quote, theocracy is incompatible with democracy and religious freedom. Okay, like, yes,
correct.
This is correct, and thank you. This is something that people need to be talking about in our nation more and more, especially as there seems to be a growing number of people who are just kind of meh about religion in general.
Well, in fairness, people are talking about it, but it's all the wrong people.
Right.
Tucker Carlson is talking about it nonstop, but his conclusions are wrong.
Right. Well, he's a Christian nationalist, as is as are people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, and the Boebert herself, I'm sure. Right.
The Bobe.
Anyway, I do think that the phrasing white religious nationalism is interesting. They're clearly avoiding officially sounding like they might be saying something about Christianity.
That seems like a dodge.
I wish
you
they
know who you're talking about.
Yeah. And since we do know who you're talking about, just come out and say it. Like, you've taken this step, just say it. Because the people that are quoted in this article about it, they don't have a problem individually saying Christian nationalism.
Right.
There was one person quoted, but he was really close to like top leadership of the party. And he used the official white religious nationalism phrase. But otherwise,
I love that they're willing to call out white, mm-hmm. which they should be.
Yeah.
But like that, the whole reason not to say Christian, to say religious instead of Christian, mm-hmm. is because you're afraid you're going to scare off Christian people. You've already done it with white.
Yeah.
You've already all the people that you are worried about pissing off with the word Christian, you already got them with white.
Yeah.
So you might as well say the Christian part.
Part of the resolution said, this is from the resolution. It says, white religious nationalism has used the cover of patriotism to foment and inflame hate by providing cover for racism, anti-Semitism, homophobia, transphobia, xenophobia, and Islamophobia.
They're very fearful people. There's a lot of phobias in the white Christian nationalist crowd.
I mean, yes.
They're terrified.
Yeah, they're terrified of the change that they see
why
happening.
They walk around with guns all the time.
Yeah.
Because they're terrified.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of the whole world.
Yeah. And so the fact that the Democrats are taking this up, thank you. I wish you would go just one step further and just call it for what it is, right? And because we don't really have a problem with white Muslim nationalism, right?
Oh, goddamn those white Jewish nationalists.
Yeah, right. Like we know
other than what's his name? Ben Shapiro.
Right.
He's their one.
Yeah.
Maybe he's the problem. Maybe everybody was like, well, what about Shapiro though? It's white Christian nationalism, but what about Shapiro?
Oh my God. Yeah. So anyway.
All right. Well, at least they're calling it out. At least they're actually like, they're not doing anything.
Yeah.
But they're like, just the willingness to actually say it out loud is almost shocking at this point because they're such cowards. So I'm glad they're saying it.
Yeah, it's good.
All right. Well, I'm going to close this off with a Pew Research study.
Okay.
Pew likes to ask people about religion stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of their thing. So this one's interesting because this one was about parents, religious parents or non-religious parents, and how important it is to them that their kids share their religious views.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Which is an interesting question to ask. It's and the results won't surprise anybody. Among all parents in the United States, 35% said that it was extremely or very important that their kids share their religious views.
That's just religious parents. 35% of religious parents?
No, that's just all
35% of all parents. Okay, cool.
Because the religiously unaffiliated were also sort of included in this. I'm not really sure how that works. Anyway, okay. So 35% and then 22% say somewhat important.
Okay.
But it is interesting that among all parents, 42% say that it's not that important to them.
Really?
In the breakdown, it becomes much more interesting. If you look at, for instance, Catholics, it's very similar to sort of the all parents. It's 35% find it extremely important that their kids are Catholic.
Right.
30% say it's somewhat important that their kids are Catholic, and 34% are just like, meh. I don't care. It's fine. You won't be surprised to learn that the religiously unaffiliated is kind of a flop in the opposite direction.
Oh.
Only 8% find it extremely or very important that their kids are the same religious beliefs as them. And I assume that this means people like us. Yeah. I think there are a lot of atheists who would really be horrified if their kids started to believe in a religion.
I'm not a parent, but I could not imagine. Like, I would just be like, oh, honey, right? Like,
yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, 8% find it extremely important. 14% find it somewhat important, but 78% of the religiously unaffiliated don't think it's important that their kids believe the same things that they do. And I think that's important because you got to let your kids be what they're going to be.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What it says about the unaffiliated community is that they're interested in their kids becoming, individualized adults who can make their own choices, not in controlling everything.
Well, if you're somebody who left a religion, right? Yeah. Especially one like the Mormon Church that has so many demands and extremely high expectation that you're going to be Mormon too. And that where there's a lot of forces that sort of alienate you from your family, even if you leave the church. Right.
Right.
I could see a lot of parents being like, I don't want that strain in the relationship that I have with my child as my parents put on the relationship that I had with them.
Right.
And so just
100%.
finding a way to just be good with it and be like, hey, that's your thing. And it, you know, if anybody could be accepting of like different views, I would hope it would be non-believers.
Right.
Right.
I mean, it would be hard. Like you said, it would be hard if I had kids, which I don't, but if I had kids and one of them was like, Dad, I'm joining blank religion, my impulse would definitely not be to say, no, you can't.
Right.
But I would have questions, and it would feel bad to me.
Yeah.
Because I know the harm that can come from religions. But
there is a hierarchy, though, right? There's like, if they're like, hey, I'm joining the Anglican Church, it's like, well, all right. I mean, that's a weird choice, but okay. But like, if they come to you and they're like, you know, I just signed up for Scientology, right?
It's
like,
or I'm a hardcore, you know, Baptist now or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. All of a sudden,
evangelical something or other.
Yeah. I went out shooting guns with these guys. They were really cool.
They were really awesome. Now
I'm evangelical.
And they baptized me while I was there. Yeah. God damn it. Okay. I'm gonna have you guess. Now, this survey was not large enough to encapsulate smaller groups like Mormons or J-Dubs or whatever.
Okay.
Which I assume would be they would be very extreme on this.
Right.
But in this case, the most extreme in the controlling direction was the white evangelicals.
Okay.
He said, surprising absolutely no one. Right. Do you care to guess what percentage of white evangelicals found it extremely or very important that their kids have the same religious views as they do?
I think it's going to be like really high, like over 75%.
It's 70.
70. Okay.
70%. And that was the highest group in this thing. It was 70% with 19% more saying it was somewhat important to them.
Wow.
Leaving only about 10% saying it's not that important.
Oh, poor evangelical kids.
But we all know this because evangelicals are they're fucking Looney Tunes in this country. Yeah. And they don't listen, and they insist, like, this is the problem. These are the same people that insist that all of us have to believe what they believe.
Right.
They're the ones who, like, when we don't believe what they believe, they scream that they're being oppressed.
Right. So no surprise that they're a little weird about their kids also.
Right.
Believing the same.
So there you go. If you're from an evangelical family, specifically a white evangelical family, I'm sorry, and we hear you. We know the pressure that was on you. Yeah. So there you go. And if you want to tell us your story of that, please feel free to do so. You can write into us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or call us and tell us about it. The telephone number is 424-666-8442. Stick around. There's more show coming up.
Well, Frank.
Dan.
You're familiar with the concept of a tithe?
Yes.
Tithing.
10% of your income.
It's a
going to the church.
The idea is you're supposed to give to the church.
Yeah.
But like, I'll tell you what, man. Some of these evangelicals, these prosperity gospel guys, they take it to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
They don't want 10% of your money. They want all of your money.
That's stupid. Really?
They literally, because their whole thing is like, the more you give, the more blessed you are. That is their shtick. That is their line. They don't say it that way usually. Right. They don't say I want all of your money. I don't care how destitute you are. But you know what? Sometimes they do say it that way. And this is a televangelist named Andrew Womack, who who first wants to brag about how much money he has, which I always was shocked by. Like when these pastors are like conspicuously wealthy,
Yeah.
I always think that their parishioners would say, "I'm not going to give you more money. You already have too much money."
Yeah.
But what it does is it proves their point that like the whole concept of prosperity doctrine is, if you have more money, it means God blessed you more.
Yeah.
And therefore you must be righteous. It's why the evangelicals trust Donald Trump.
Right. Yeah. Because he's so rich.
Because he's wealthy.
Right.
And that inherently means he's good. So this guy, well, why don't we just listen?
When you receive an offering, people think, well, you're just wanting money for yourself. You know, I don't care whether you give or not. God's going to take care of me, I promise you. My needs are bigger than what you can meet. I just figured out this week, I have to have $11,000 an hour, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days out of the year. You are not my source. God is my source. I could leave here, and you know what? I didn't barely get here, and I'm not going to struggle to leave here. I've got money. But you need to give. And there was a woman that came up during the altar call, and she said, "Do you remember me?" And I didn't remember her, but she reminded me that the previous year she was let out of a mental institution to come to church on a Sunday. And she says, "I need some money." And I had just taught on this passage of scripture that I shared with you. So I said, "What do you have?" And she made the connection. She knew what I was going to do. So she went and got her purse, and she had a little coin purse, and she counted it out, and it was something like $78.35, something like that. And I said, "Give it to me." And she said, "All of it?" And I said, "All of it." And I took my hands like this, and I took every penny that woman had. She said that she wasn't going to get paid for a week, and she didn't have groceries. And I said, "Give me all of it."
Holy shit.
That's a good man of God right there.
Oh, God, he's got it figured out.
When you can look
sick,
a destitute and mentally unhealthy person in the eye and say, "Give me all of your money,"
and all of it's $78 as well.
And your apparently your expenses are, and somebody did the math, and it came to over $96 million a year.
I did the math.
Okay. I figured you might have done.
96,096,000 is what he claims that he needs.
Yeah.
You don't need that.
Yeah. Oh my God.
You don't need that.
What? I mean, the truth is, this problem, like none of the stories that these guys tell are even true.
Yeah. So the amount of money is also probably a total.
Yeah, the whole thing's probably bullshit. Yeah. He probably just made it all up just to illustrate a point.
A faith promoting story.
Well, yeah. The fact that story could promote faith in anybody and the fact that it could promote anything other than outrage in any human being is alarming.
Yeah. Oh my God. Should we pivot to the Patreon pitch? Would that be?
Oh, I love it.
Atheist podcasters have nothing.
Yeah.
Like this.
Yeah.
We can say we're rich. We can say we're poor. It doesn't matter.
we have
nothing like this to give anybody.
God, we need to start. How do you have a prosperity atheist podcast? How do we do that?
Okay, let's just move on.
Okay.
Do we have any emails this week?
We do. Awesome. We had some people write into us. A lot of this is from a couple weeks ago because last week Kate filled in for me while I was having family emergency in Canada. So thank you so much, Kate, for that. So we had a few people write into us. Now, you'll recall that we talked a little bit about sex trafficking.
Yes.
and the concept of trafficking and all that sort of thing. And Steve wrote into us, friend of the show, Steve wrote into us to say, I've always wanted to open with a smug, I wrote the book on ... Thanks to your segment on trafficking, I at last have that opportunity. Now I can die happy. Not that there's any rush. Anywho, I wrote the book on prostitution and Mormons. And indeed, he did write a book. And it is called Behind the Mormon Curtain, Selling Sex in America's Holy City. He didn't actually put that in, but I thought I'd just give him a shout out. Anyway, he said, for what it's worth, I'll offer the following additional research-based perspective. Yes, coercive sex trafficking is real and it's horrible, but although crusaders deny it, men and women who opt into and freely remain in prostitution are not rare, nor are they damaged or lacking options. I interviewed Salt Lake area sex workers who have multiple degrees and solid job experience. They choose sex work because they enjoy it and or like the money. Second, then he goes on to say, the statutory definition of trafficking is not limited to coercion. It can be applied to scenarios that many would consider benign, including paid private sex between willing participants. What would be a discreet affair if no money had changed hands falls under the dread T word. So I think that's interesting. That trafficking, that just, benign sex work can be considered trafficking. He goes on, law enforcement and the media capitalize on the broad definition. A sting op tricking hapless men into thinking they're about to meet a willing sex worker is reported as breaking up a major trafficking operation. The media benefit because the T word attracts audiences. The T word is great PR for law enforcement because it makes them look like rescuers and preempts criticism the likes of, why do police waste valuable resources on harmless encounters instead of going after violent street crime? And in many cases, wasting valuable resources on harmless encounters is exactly what they're doing. And then his final bullet point is that over and misuse of the T word, trafficking, diverts needful attention and resources from real trafficking, including the sort you called out in last week's segment.
Nice.
I find that very interesting. Yeah. I think I thank you for that. Yeah. I think that word is misused a lot, and it becomes this sort of punching bag, this big PR thing when it's frequently bullshit. Maddie wrote in to say, hi, Frank and Dan. I recently was blessed to get back on necessary medication and therefore made a visit to my local CVS pharmacy. Once there, I made an awful discovery. There's a tall display with religious material that is not only in the pharmaceutical area, but it's so close you can touch it from the pickup window. It's nearly all Christian materials. I knew immediately what I needed to do. After I took care of my pharmaceutical needs, I found the store's manager. I pointed out the display's materials and clarified that I'm not comfortable with mine and everyone's inability to access pharmaceutical services without having to interact with religious materials. It doesn't feel appropriate. I'm not necessarily telling you I don't want the religious display to be present at all in the whole store. It's just that I believe it certainly shouldn't be in the pharmaceutical area. The manager responded that she would pass on my feedback to her supervisor. I will be using this CVS location again, so if I witness that same display in the same place the next time I come, I will deliver the same feedback. Rinse and repeat until the display fucking moves.
That's awesome.
What's interesting about this is that my first response is a very Gen X response, which is just like, yeah, who the fuck cares? But that's not true. Like my initial response is just like, just
look the other way.
It's dumb, but right. But that's not true, because Maddie is absolutely right that the people that are going to that counter are often very vulnerable in a very, they can be in a very difficult stage in their life if they're needing, if they're, especially if they're needing medicines for psychological or mental issues.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not okay to like half the time, a decent percentage of people might be there specifically because of religious trauma.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem, Maddie, is that they are there specifically because of that. That is a feature, not a bug to them. Because religions, like, they think they're helping, but they specifically prey on the most vulnerable. That is their goal. That is why they think that is their stated purpose a good percentage of the time. So you might have an uphill battle on your hands. I don't know.
I mean, the fact that it's a CVS, that's an interesting detail. I mean,
yeah, that's a national chain. That's
you would think that
chain.
You'd probably be able to get somewhere, even if it doesn't, if you can't get anywhere with the local management, then maybe it's worth like
writing
a letter in. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So, go for it. Make it a policy that goes across the board.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Dick wrote into us to say, "Hey, Frank and Dan, my wife and I recently moved from Houston to a small town in Indiana for work. We have a 3-year-old and have started to shop around for schools. Unfortunately, the private religious schools in the area are the best academically." We were talking about that just before.
That's funny.
I was already feeling squirrely about the thought of sending my daughter to a Catholic school. Then what do I see when we pull in? A large cross with the words "in memory of the aborted children" written on it.
Ooh, okay.
I've done a pretty good job of not letting my religious PTSD get to me, but damn, that sent me into a tizzy. Later that day, I spotted another one in the local cemetery.
Oh, man.
Curious if this is a new phenomenon or just an Indiana thing. Yikes. And he sent a picture of this cross, and it's like 6 feet tall.
Oh, geez, really?
And tacky as shit. That's the other thing, is that it's got it's a white cross with a dumb sort of heart thing on it. It's badly designed. So,
at least I guess if it was, good quality design, you could maybe, tolerate it. But
you're representing the Catholic Church, for God's sake.
If the message and the design are both unpalatable, it's the worst.
Then it's beyond the pale. In the Salt Lake City Cemetery, I don't know if you know this, Frank, there is a Catholic section of the Salt Lake City Cemetery on the Avenues.
Okay.
And in that section, there is a headstone for which there is no grave, that just says, like, it says "baby" on it, and then underneath it says "in loving memory of the victims of abortion," or whatever.
Wow.
So it's not just Indiana. That exists in other places.
Yeah.
So stupid.
At least it's in the Catholic corner.
Yeah, and it's small, and it's not obtrusive.
Yeah.
Like, you have to notice it to notice it.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas the thing that Dick saw was just decidedly meant to be noticed. Oh, good Lord.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you in terms of like where to send your kid to school. I would send my kid specifically to get kicked out of Catholic school. Like, I would train them in all of the things that I'm okay with them saying but like, your teachers will not react well to this.
I don't know if that's a good strategy.
It's why I'm not a parent.
Yeah.
I have all the wrong strategies for parenting.
I'm glad that you would turn your child's educational experience into some sort of vanity project for.
No, that is just a different kind of education, my friend. And I say it's far more valuable than trigonometry ever would be. All right. Well, we do we have some folks to thank?
We do indeed, Dan. We actually have quite the list.
All right.
So let's get started. started. We have
Thank goodness, because our numbers were really starting to dwindle. Anyway, no, not your problem. My problem.
We have 2 new deacons.
Okay.
We have Kenny and Kyle they're coming in as 1 deacon. And then
we don't have Stan and Cartman to go with them.
And then we have I don't even know how to proto-buff.
Sure.
Thank you to the both of you.
You're
Our 2
amazing.
new deacons. We have 2 new teachers. We have Simon and Travelin' Texan.
Okay.
So thank you to the both of you. And then we have a new priest by the name of AJ. Thank you, AJ and Dan.
Amazing.
We have a new prophet, seer, and revelator by the name.
Wow, that's the good stuff. Someone coming in hot.
By the name of Chris. So, Prophet Chris.
Prophet Chris.
Thank
wow.
you very much.
And here's the nice thing: is that Chris gets to order these other guys around.
Woohoo! Yeah.
All the people. Listen. There is a hierarchy here with the magic that we are bestowing on all of you, with the priesthood that we bestow on you when you give to us. It is decidedly so that when you're at one level, you can boss around everyone at the levels below.
Oh, yeah.
Not in any real way, of course, but in the fake way that we are giving you magic powers.
Yeah.
You have that authority. So... well done.
And if you'd like to join these kind folk in supporting the show,
and you should,
please.
Why wouldn't you?
Please go to our website, thankgodimatheist.com, and click on the support tab. And there's options there. Just look for them. And as always, Dan, we have our top donor to thank, our Lord and Savior, Davis.
More show coming up. Hey Frank,
Dan,
are you planning on doing anything special for your hubby for Valentine's Day?
Probably not. We don't really celebrate the Valentine's Day. It seems a little arbitrary and forced and all that kind of stuff. We are getting together with some friends tonight for like a group Valentine's dinner, I guess. That's how they sort of pitched it. I think it's just dinner.
I hope you made Valentines for each of the people.
Oh, that would be
in that
cute.
Creepy way that like kids do.
Oh, we need to go and get some. That would be cute. They're making like this really nice meal. Like it's our friend's boyfriend has been prepping a roast and everything for a couple days now. Like he's really into it. So there's going to be like this just great meal. And then we were at the grocery store and we saw this tub of Philadelphia cheesecake pre-made something or other. It's like this tub and you just like, it's cheesecake.
You just dump it
into a crust and literally it's like no bake. And so we bought that and we're just going to eat it with spoons.
Let me know how it goes. I want to know if that's any good. Anywho,
it sounds awful. It's a little bit of a gag gift, but people out there have probably seen the product. I'll let you know if it's any good.
Yeah. Anyway, here's the thing about Valentine's Day. The big complaint that I always hear about it is that it's just sort of a Hallmark day. It's one of those sort of trumped up days. Everybody kind of hates Valentine's Day because 90% of the, if you don't have a person, then it feels like stupid and shitty. And if you do have a person that you've been together with for a long time, it's like, oh, what's the point?
Or there's just weird pressure to do something special. Yeah.
And now, and I don't know how many of our listeners out there participate in this, but like now families give each other Valentine's Day cards. Like
what?
Moms give their kids and kids give their mom. Like,
no.
It's all gotten real weird.
It's a day for lovers.
You are not dating your kids, you freak. Stop doing that. You're not a freak. I apologize. Anyway, what's weird, what's extra weird, what's the most weird about this whole thing is that it's just a saint's day.
Yeah.
Saint Valentine.
Yeah.
just a Catholic saint, just a dude, probably multiple dudes. When you look into it,
right.
There were several, and they kind of got conflated together,
meshed them together.
Yeah. So we don't know which Saint Valentine we're actually talking about.
I mean, Wikipedia thinks it knows.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, I read all about Saint Valentine.
Oh, well, that's nice.
3rd century Italian saint from Terni.
Okay.
No, but he's he's not just.
How was he killed? How was he martyred? They were all killed in horrible ways.
I didn't read that far. I read what he's the patron saint of: courtly love.
Courtly love.
Okay. As well as beekeeping and epilepsy. And there was another one that was interesting. And I was just like, this is okay. Like, there's enough saints. Why are we piling all this onto this guy? But
yeah, well, there weren't enough saints at some point in the 3rd century, 4th or 5th century, whenever.
Fair enough.
So you had to pile them up. And beekeepers.
they need the saint too.
Keeping bees is for lovers. It's a known fact.
I don't think the two have anything to do with each other.
How dare you? How dare you say that?
Oh, he's also the patron saint of the plague. Now, I don't know if it's in promotion of the plague or if you have plague.
It sounds like it sounds like if the plague itself, if whatever the bacterium or whatever it is that causes the plague needs a saint.
Yeah. Oh,
then it can pray to Valentine.
He's also the saint against fainting. So if you faint a lot, pray to Saint Valentine.
I've got the vapor. Saint Valentine, help me out here. Here's the thing, y'all. One of the things that I was thinking about as I was contemplating the idea of Valentine's Day, and also, we've got Patrick's Day coming up next month and whatever. The thing that happens is that nobody gives a shit about saints' days. Even Catholics don't really give a shit about saints' days.
Some do.
Unless something actually fun starts to be associated with it.
Oh,
some activity, something. And this is true of all the holidays. Holidays, nobody cares about. Like, nobody cares about Epiphany. Nobody gives a shit. But but that is only because it doesn't have a fun traditional food and a fun traditional, some sort of activity associated with it.
Right.
If you don't have decorations and activities and food, like special food, it's just, and then what ends up happening, inevitably, the activity becomes the thing,
mm-hmm.
the traditions become the thing, and you really just kind of don't care about the religious significance of it anymore. I mean, when you think about Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, at least how it's celebrated here in the United States,
right.
Which is, I'm sure, a befuddlement to many people, especially in Ireland, but there you go. When you think about All Hallows Eve.
Yeah.
You ask anybody, you ask 99 out of 100 people in the United States what Halloween is, no one's going to mention All Saints Day.
Right.
It's just not going to come up. Because the fun part is what they like, is what they do. The traditions and the religion is just an annoyance that happens to be attached to it. Am I right? Even the religious people. I just don't. I remember being religious, and we didn't do saints. Mormons don't do saints.
Yeah, Mormons don't really. Yeah, there's not a lot of baggage with that kind of stuff, right?
Right.
Like that part of Christianity is like so far removed from Mormonism.
Think about your experience of Easter. What was the best part of Easter and what was the worst part of Easter? Because it's very clearly delineated for me.
The worst was going to church, right?
Anything churchy and awful.
The best was but here's the deal. I was about to say the best was going and hunting for Easter eggs, but all you end up with is a bag of eggs. Like, this is right?
Which hard-boiled eggs?
Yeah.
Not that great a treat.
I remember being so excited as a little kid and like oh my God, like these beautiful colors, and it's been so fun collecting them. And then it's like crack, crack, crack. Like, because I wanted one, right? Like this thing must be amazing. And just being like, I probably was just like falling out of my mouth, just like, bleh. What?
Yeah, I've never been a big egg, like boiled egg fan. Like hard boiled eggs don't do a lot for me.
I like a hard boiled egg as an adult, sliced up and put on a salad. Sure. Right. But like, good Lord.
It's very funny, but there's candy, and there's colors, and there's all of these things that literally have nothing to do with the resurrection of Jesus.
Right.
That's the best part.
Yeah, of course it is.
Undeniably. And then the religion part is the worst part.
Yeah.
So with days like Saint Valentine's Day, they just got rid of the worst part entirely. Nobody cares about the religious significance of Saint Valentine. Nobody.
None.
It's just it's just I don't know, go on a date day.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing? Like completely 100% disconnected. Like it's even so far disconnected from anything Catholic, right? That we actually use Cupid, right?
Yeah.
As like the figure, the mascot of the day. And that's what Cupid was Roman?
Yeah.
Roman god? Or Pantheon somehow fit in there?
Or was that Mercury? Wait.
Mars or no, I don't know. I can't remember.
Cupid is the Roman god.
Yeah. So anyway.
Oh, the counterpart of the Greek Eros.
Oh, Eros. You're right. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just like it's totally 100% disconnected. And like if you were going to look up anything, you probably wouldn't even type in, oh, who was Saint Valentine? You'd be like, who is Cupid?
Right?
Right? Like you're
well, because the depictions of Cupid become exactly the same as the depictions of the little cute little angels.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
It's indistinguishable, really, in terms of the iconography, in terms of the visualization of these people. So
it is just mishmashed. It's a total mess. Poor Catholics. They lost Saint Valentine to the masses.
What will the beekeepers do?
So yeah,
can someone please think of the beekeepers?
They need a saint too. The whole saint thing is so bizarre, right?
Yeah.
Like it's so obvious. I mean, it seems like it's just a transferring like the Roman gods into like Catholicism, but not having them be gods or something, right?
Totally. You and I were talking about this earlier. It is this sense. You pointed it out, and I think it's brilliant. This idea that you had, when they moved over to monotheism, they lost something in the move, and that was like the god that was specifically for my kind of people.
Right. Yeah. Like if you're a beekeeper, you want your god.
Yeah.
I don't know I don't know if the Roman pantheon was that specific, but like there were a ton of gods.
Right. And you could pick your guy.
Yeah.
And your town would have its own god.
Exactly. Yeah. And so now there's just patron saints and saints that you can pray to for whatever. The one that I always loved was Saint Christopher, right? Because
for
travel, right? But so I looked up Saint Christopher, also epilepsy, which was Valentine. It must have.
Let me tell you something. If you have a seizure disorder, you are spoiled for choice in terms of saints.
You probably deserve it, yeah. But apparently toothaches as well. So yeah. There's a saint for everything. Like you name the thing, the problem, the issue, whatever it is, I guarantee you can find a saint.
They'll saint you right up. All right. Well, we don't know anything about saints other than we were saints. We were considered saints ourselves. Saints of these latter days. So if you want to clue us in on something we may have not gotten all the way right, or if you want to be proud of us for knowing anything about any saints at all, which you probably should be, feel free to write into us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist, and click the like button.
And if you'd like to join one of our members-only lounges, you can do so. Go to our website, thankgodimatheist.com/members-only.
Thanks so much to the Red Rock Hot Club for the use of their fine music.
And thanks to Gordon Johnston for the use of his music.
And thank you to all of you friends for tuning in. We sure do appreciate it.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.